What is going on, fellas, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be running another experiment, but this time it will not be the Calm down, champion. We'll get to you in a second. So today we're going to be testing out if a 99 overall quarterback would be able to win the Heisman and or lead an FCS team. The coach won't really influence this much, but I think the name is fairly fitting. He's going to be level 1 with crappy progression. The team we'll be using is one of 2 teams that will make their debut on the channel in the foreseeable future. The Oak Cliff Pitbulls, 1 star. The coaches just have default stuff like level 1 stuff. When it comes to recruiting, everything's going to be set to automatic. It works the same way as the simple feature on Madden 19. Our schedule's going to be an F. They do have us playing Michigan in week 3. Can't wait to see us get flogged in that game. We're going to try and do as many seasons as possible. Each season, as the team gets a little bit better, I'm going to make our competition a little bit harder. We might end up winning the Heisman the very first year. I don't know. That's what we're here to find out. The question is, who's going to watch this game? I'm right there with you, mate. This game will be awful. These guys are auto-generated and made to be the worst team in the game. We are worse than them with a 59 offense. Our quarterback, Jamie Butler, is a 63. Our running back is a 74. He's not fast at all. Just look at the receivers. The best one we have is a 68 overall, and it doesn't, it's just terrible the entire way down. This is without a doubt the worst receiving core I've ever seen in NCAA 14. That's why I made it that way, to be the worst. The difference is, for this experiment, we need Jamie Butler to be a little bit better. Freshman quarterback, Jamie Butler, 99 overall across the board. Now everything's been set up. We've got the 99 overall quarterback. We've got the trash can receivers. So we started off as a 58 overall offense with the 99 quarterback. We go up to a 72. But that shows just how bad the quarterback was to begin with. By the time we hit his junior or senior season, I'm going to try and join the SEC. I might even buff some of the receivers just for a little bit of fun. As I said, don't need to worry about recruiting. The computer's going to take care of all of that. This is the part that's going to take forever. Simulating all of these games. This will probably take 20 minutes. So to my surprise, we are 8-4, and Hopes and Dreams is leveling up quite nicely. If we've already got 99 throw power, and I go ahead and add this, do we get 100 throw power? We beat the crap out of Michigan, and they finished 10-2. How did we beat Michigan? We dropped 21 in the third. So Butler finished second behind Sam Darnold on passing yards. 3,300, very, very nice. But as for individual play, Jamie Butler, 312 completions from 445 attempts, 3,300 yards, 37 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now, considering our best receivers are 68 overall, these guys balled out, man. 2 of them hitting over 1,000, a lot of touchdowns to show for it. Rufus Dixon, another receiver, had 3 touchdowns, 533 yards. Like, this guy's a tight end, and he's a blocking tight end, and he's still got the most yards on the team. He also rushed for 531 yards on the season. Well, I guess there's only one more thing to go figure out, and that is, are we leading for the Heisman? This will be interesting. We are not even being considered. Instead, we have the likes of Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, Jalen Hurts. Of course, these aren't the up-to-date rosters. I definitely am working on getting those. I just don't have them right now. Every single one of these schools is ranked in the top 25, but we're not, and we're not on the Heisman list, even though we should be. At least Baker Mayfield scraped in the top 5. The quarterback was so good, an Oak Cliff receiver broke the school record. He also broke the receptions record. Butler himself broke passing touchdowns in a season. He also broke the passing yards in a season. The receiver won the John Mackey, and the class is just awful. Imagine getting locked out by a 52 overall middle linebacker. Our best 2 receivers now are sitting at 72 opposed to 68. The entire receiving core is much, much better. I figured since he'd probably need to win a few games to be considered for the Heisman, I didn't go to the Big Ten. Instead, I put Ohio State, Penn State, Alabama, and Auburn on our schedule. Then we're just going to go into our MAC conference play. But if we can get a couple of wins against some of these bigger schools, we might just be ranked. That'll definitely improve our chances to go for the Heisman. We did see a really good season 1. Now with these guys on the schedule, I'm hoping it's a little bit better. I do definitely think it's possible. Everything just needs to go our way. If you've been watching the channel for a long time, you would know that not a lot of things go our way. Would you look at that, 8-4 again. We did lose all of our games against the ranked schools. So checking out our season stats, this year we dominated, mate. Second place was 3,300, we cracked 3,800. This time we're 136 with 700 yards. We have to be leading for the Heisman, this is it. What? This is rigged. And you know it. Cameron Petaway, the running back. We also have Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold, Gaskin, and Jacob Eason. This is so rigged. How do you lead the NCAA by almost 500 passing yards and not even be in contention? I've got one more idea on how we might be able to win this Heisman with an FCS team. Just to recap the season we just had, Jamie Butler had 47 touchdowns, 4,500 yards total considering the bowl game that we had. He also rushed for total 835 yards and 8 touchdowns on that season. So we saw a much bigger improvement. Now when we check out training results, our best receiver Jesse Gates goes up to an 82 overall. He's got decent acceleration and speed. But to be honest, I'm kind of done with not even being considered for the Heisman. So Jesse Gates will be getting a little bit of an upgrade before we start the next season. I have cheesed it a little bit, but this is to guarantee ourselves at least an opportunity at the Heisman. Our schedule is the easiest I could possibly make it. All of our non-conference games are against FCS competition, and the teams that are conference games are teams that we have been undefeated in the past 2 seasons. Our team's still just above the level of an FCS team, but I upgraded Jesse Gates, our wide receiver, to a 90. Hopes and Dreams is now level 14, and every point has been invested in making the team play better. Our team is now sitting at a 77 overall compared to an FCS team. It doesn't really go with the trend of the experiment since that is an FCS team and we are significantly better. We're still technically the worst team in the entire game. Without further ado, fellas, let's simulate the last season. Coach of the Year finalist. Finalists for the Heisman. That's what I wanted to see, boys. All it took was getting us the easiest schedule imaginable. 24th ranked in the nation. So let's go ahead and start with our stats on the season. Butler leading the NCAA this time by 700 yards. On the rushing end, we finished 160th with 691 yards. We had a 191 passer rating, 51 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's got to be Heisman winner. We only ran in for 1 touchdown, which is very surprising, but we averaged 5 yards on the ground. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 51 touchdowns might be an NCAA record. And this is the part that we are waiting for, fellas. We might not guarantee the Heisman yet, but let's see on the Heisman watch. We are in 4th place. We're behind Johnny Berg, who that was another experiment that I scrapped. I forgot he was on the rosters. 5'5", 403. Forget he's on there. Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold, and of course, Jamie Butler in 4th place. So even cheesing the game and not even technically being an FCS quality school, still couldn't win the Heisman, even with our ridiculous numbers. After all of that, we only received 42 votes for 1st place. This quarterback only had 2,500 yards and 925 on the ground for 46 total. We had 52 touchdowns total. We had way more yards than him, just a little bit less on the scrambling end. I definitely do think it's possible for a 99 to win the Heisman on an FCS team. Obviously, NCAA 14, because there's so many teams and players, has a lot of RNG in terms of simulating. That being said, fellas, that's going to wrap up the experiment. If you want more NCAA ones, let me know down in the comment section. If you have any ideas for experiments in NCAA, let me know down there as well. If you made it this far into the video, you are the real MVP. I hope the rest of your day is awesome, and from me personally, I'm out. Peace.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake, 'cause I don't fucking care at all. You've been out all night, I don't know where you've been, you're slurring all your words, not making any sense.